I mean, there's been evidence of quarrying here since Roman times, but as an industrial unit, it's really from the sort of 40s to the 60s that it expanded to the size it is now.
How deep is it at the moment then, Steve?
It's 120 metres deep. To date, there's about 100 million tonne actually being quarried out of the current hole. 2019 is when we will bid our maximum permitted depth. We've got another 6 levels to go down, which is why we're underway with the extension at the moment, to extend the life.
So Graham, once the extension really kicks in, which is on the other side of Bardon Hill, you'll bring the material back through to this processing point, won't you?
We're going to use a tunnel with conveyors situated within the tunnel, because what we want to do is use the existing processing plant to distribute the materials from the existing site.
And when this original site is exhausted, what will happen here?
Some of the material which is surplus to requirements will be brought back and will be used to partially infill this existing quarry. So we'll have a plateau of approximately 20 hectares or about 55 acres, and could be used in the future for a small industrial estate, for instance.
So we're heading off now then from the main quarry site through the main processing plant beneath all the covered conveyor belts and piles of aggregate all around to the summit of Bardon Hill, the highest point in Leicestershire. It's an old extinct volcano standing on top of the Fringston Fault. It was all the Precambrian activity here 600 million years ago that formed the very volcanic rock that they're quarrying here today. Once I'm up at the top, I'm hoping to meet there with the local councillor for Bardon, Michael Wyatt.
When you actually look at it yourself from the very top, it is absolutely massive compared to what you can imagine. But when they start the new quarry at Sell, it's going to be even bigger.
What kind of impact do you think that's going to have on locals when the extension really kicks in?
I think most of the locals have accepted that it's going to happen, but Bardon have certainly put forward some measures which will tackle some of the issues which local residents are concerned about.
Yeah. Cool, that wind cuts through you, doesn't it? So Graham, as we head away from Bardon Hill, we're approaching the new extension site. What's going on here on the right?
We have an awful lot of mobile plant which is undertaking soil stripping operations to get at the clay which lies beneath. The next stage of the operation would then be to commence the process of forming embankments to protect the properties which exist adjacent to Copdoke Road. The noise and the dust will be reduced as a result of placing these embankments.
So Graham, we've just leapt out of the cars here and we're pretty central in the footprint of what will be the extension. So once work is fully underway here, it's going to be almost completely invisible to the public, isn't it?
Well, not quite, because as part of our proposals, the embankments themselves will support footpaths. And this will then afford the opportunity for people to see what's happening within the quarry, and I'm sure there'll be a lot of interest for that. We expect to continue in operations for a further 42 years.
But the geology of this area will sustain a dig for that long, will it?
Absolutely right, yes. We've tested the material by putting boreholes down. We know precisely its physical properties, and we know precisely how much material we have to move to get at the underlying 142 million tonnes of granite.
And at an extraction rate of
about 3 million tonnes a year.
Wow.
Into 142 million tonnes. If my maths is right, it's just over 40 years, I think, life.
That'll be music to David Cameron and George Osborne's ears as they sign off on the next big infrastructure project.
Yeah. Well, we hope this material goes into some of those projects.
And it will outlive them.
Yeah, I think well, absolutely right.